Good afternoon. This is the Town of Hempstead Board of Appeals, July 16, 2025, 2 p.m. meeting. Mr. Chairman, do you have any opening remarks?
I don't believe there's anyone here who is not represented by someone who is familiar with the way we conduct our hearings. Is there? Is there anyone here who's not familiar with the way the hearings are conducted? So that will, okay. Would you like to? I guess I'll have to go through it. All right. So the way we conduct the hearings are as follows. First, we'll call for adjournments. If there are any, we'll take those cases first, and then we will get into the hearings themselves. The way they're conducted is the applicant states their case. If there are any people in opposition, then we'll hear the opponent's views, and then we give the applicant the opportunity to sum up. We have a court reporter. The hearings are taken down. They're also videotaped. They're archived, so you can refer to them in the future. We are not constrained by the formal rules of evidence. We'll accept almost anything within reason as evidence, okay? Patrick, anything else? Anything I left out? Or can we start calling cases?
Absolutely. Mr. Chairman, we have a few adjournments for this afternoon. First, we have case 39525 near Valley Stream, Stephen Friedman. Variances, height, lot area occupied, front yard average setback, side yards aggregate, rear yard construct dwelling, demolish existing dwelling, also known as 739 Dumont Place.
Good afternoon, Mr. McKeevitt.
It's McKevitt.
It was McKeevitt this morning.
That was a different guy. It's a different case this afternoon.
Okay. Is it Frankenstein or Frankenstein?
Frankenstein this afternoon, Frankenstein this morning.
Got it. Okay.
For the applicant, Thomas McKevitt,
Are you under doctor's care for this?
I am under care of numerous healthcare providers. Son, Ward, Braff, Coscignano, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, 11553. In consultation with my client and my architect, we will be submitting revised plans to the board on this application. We're going to be reducing, so there'll be less variances or less indication of a bulk of the house. So we're looking perhaps for an adjournment date of either September 10th probably, and we'll hopefully have resubmitted plans in a couple of weeks. There will not be any new variances, so I do not think there'll be a need for a new mailing, but that's our game plan as of now.
Okay. Patrick?
September 10th at 2 p.m.
9:10, 2 p.m.
Yep.
Okay. Thank
you.
you. Enjoy the rest of your day, Mr. McKeevitt.
I will try. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we have one more case for adjournment. Case 67824 Hewlett Rockaway Portfolio LLC. Renewal of grants to maintain variances, front yard average setback on East Rockaway Road, side yards to construct temporary trailer for religious use, waive off-street parking with insufficient maneuvering aisle, special exception to parking of residents A and B districts, and to park in front yard setbacks on Princeton Avenue, also known as 56 East Rockaway Road.
Dominic Minerva, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, attorney for the applicant. I am requesting a further adjournment on this. I did submit a letter with the update on the status of the issuance of certificate of occupancy for the trailer. We did file the variance application for the permanent building. That's with the board in process and awaiting review and assignment of a hearing date. The Town of Hempstead building inspector did come out on July 9th. He met with the applicant at the site and went over what was remaining in order for him to issue a certificate, and he put those comments in the portal. So we're requesting a few month adjournment so he can continue to make progress on the certificate.
Patrick?
October 15th, 2 p.m.
Okay, Ms.
That works.
Minerva?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do not have any other requests for adjournment. Is there
Okay.
anybody here that's looking for an adjournment?
Call the calendar.
First, we have case 39625 Merrick Character Development LLC, doing business as Kid Strong. Special exception to use part of premises in an existing building for public assembly and amusement. Proposed kids gym. Variance in off-street parking, also known as 361 through 385 Merrick Avenue.
afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. On
afternoon.
behalf of the applicant, my name is Eric Snipus with the law firm of Greenberg Traurig, 900 Stewart Avenue, Garden City, New York. Present to my left,
Michael Reyes, owner-operator of Kidstrong, 250 Winton Road, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Reyes is the owner, operator, and franchisee of 11 Kidstrong locations in the area, including the Kidstrong location at 2816 Long Beach Road, Oceanside, which this board granted a special exception for public assembly and amusement on November 14th of 2024, pardon me, under case number 677-24. Interestingly enough, with respect to that Oceanside location, if you do Google the location, they have about 99 reviews, almost a near perfect rating, so it just speaks volumes to the Kidstrong operation and Mr. Reyes's operations. So for those of you who may not be aware, and we do have some pamphlets to hand up to the board and explaining what the Kidstrong brand is about.
We'll accept those.
Kidstrong is a training program based on scientific principles that focuses on building strength, confidence, and character in children. They have programs for children as young as walking age, all the way through 11 years old. Their programs focus on developing in the children's strong character, body, and mind. We are here today seeking a special permit to permit a place of amusement or public assembly pursuant to Article 27, Section 272C6 of the BZO, to permit Kidstrong to operate out of the former Foodtown location at 361-385 Merrick Avenue, which is just south of the Camp Avenue Elementary School. Additionally, we are seeking a waiver of off-street parking to provide 29 on-site parking spaces where 102 are required for the entire shopping center. With respect to the parking waiver, it's important to note that in 2022, Foodtown applied to this board for an off-street parking variance in connection with its proposed 693 square foot addition to the front of the building. Due to that proposed addition, the shopping center was required to provide 108 parking spaces, and they actually provided 29. And under case number 594-22, this board granted the off-street variance, and I'd like to hand up that decision as well as the approved plans.
We'll accept that as well.
However, Foodtown never went forward with the addition, so the variance did expire. If Foodtown would have constructed the addition, we would not be before you today for a parking waiver, as 108 parking spaces were required, where required 102 under,
What was the date that Foodtown asked for the variance?
I believe it was August 2022.
Thank you.
In addition, I think it's important to note that the 29 spaces we're providing is for on-site parking. Abutting the parking lot to the west along Washington Drive is a town municipal lot, which provides ample parking should overflow parking be required. That concludes my presentation. I would also like to note that Kidstrong is eager to fit out the space so that they can hold their pre-Labor Day sale. Their pre-sale tends to be very successful, as it can coincide with the start of the school year and parents trying to find an after-school activity for the kids.
How many people will be in the facility at one time, and what are the hours of operation?
So it would be maximum 30 children during a session. It's usually about 15.
Yeah, there's two classes with 15-minute gaps in between, which allows customers to vacate and new class come in with parents who do stay for the class. On average, we have about 10 to 12 that do come for class each week. Max capacity is 15 in a class with 2 coaches on the floor with a manager at all times.
And that's the only staff you have?
We have coaches, so we have 2 coaches on each floor. So it's, if we're running 2 classes with 15 minutes, there's 2 on floor 1, there's 2 on floor 2. So we always maintain proper ratios of a child to instructor. And then we have our general manager, assistant managers on the floor working with parents.
How many total staff? Total
We have-
staff
I
at
would-
any given time?
Yeah, I would, at any given time, I would say depending on the season, but there could be anywhere between 5 to 7 in the center. The centers are about 3,500 to 4,000 square feet.
Hours of operation?
Yeah, we're starting classes at 9:15 to 11:15, and then from 10:30 until 4:30, we have no classes going on unless it's the summertime where we're running camps. And then we're resuming classes at 4:30, concluding around 7:30. On weekends, we're starting classes around 8:30, and we're wrapping up around 12:30, 1 o'clock, Saturday and Sunday.
Any other questions from the board?
No, sir. I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on a decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you for your consideration.
You're welcome.
Joe, you have to chair.
Thank you. Come on.
Next, we have cases 39725 through 39825 Oceanside.
Stephanie? That's Lawson Boulevard?
Yes.
Let the record reflect the fact that I'm recused.
39725 through
now.
39825 Oceanside, 3255 Lawson Boulevard LLC. Use variance to construct offices to convert offices to 3 apartments on second floor of existing building. Waive off-street parking with insufficient backup space. Special exception to maintain outdoor dining in conjunction with existing cafe. Waive off-street parking with insufficient backup space. Also known as 3255 Lawson Boulevard.
Dominic Minerva, Minerva and D'Agostino, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York. Attorney for the applicant. Oh, yeah.
This on purpose, I know.
It's Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmont, New York, 11710.
The application of 3255 Lawson Boulevard LLC before you today is for variances to permit the conversion of office space to 3 residential apartments and maintain outdoor dining in conjunction with an existing cafe and gelato store. Subject property is known as 3255 Lawson Boulevard in Oceanside. And it's also known as Section 43, Block 277, tax lots 2 through 5 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. Is located at the southeast corner of Lawson Boulevard and Moore Avenue. Subject premises consists of 7,280 square feet. It's improved with a 4,218 square foot, 2-story building built in 1966 with no parking, as the parking lot on tax lots 2 and 3 was only acquired by the then building owner in 2004. The owner utilizes the first floor for his cafe and gelato business, and the second floor is vacant office space. The relief requested is for a use variance to convert the second floor vacant office space to 3 residential 1-bedroom apartments, a parking variance with insufficient backup space, and a special exception to maintain outdoor dining in conjunction with the cafe. Specifically, the applicant is seeking a parking variance with 17 spaces required, 8 for the apartments, that's made up of 8 for the apartments, 6 for the cafe, and 3 for the outdoor seating. Insufficient backup space with 24 feet required and 22 feet provided, and a special exception to maintain 8 outdoor dining seats. As you will hear momentarily from the applicant's real estate, this application qualifies for the relief requested. Just a few items I wanted to put on the record. This property is about 3 to 4 blocks from the railroad station. It's only a block and a half from the commuter parking lots. And the Gelato and Cafe only has one employee. They're open from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. with 2 shifts, one employee from 8 to 4, one employee from 4 p.m. to 12, and they do a lot of the takeout, Uber Eats, Grubhub. He's registered with all of those services. And he's been there operating the Cafe and Gelato store first as a tenant, and then he wound up buying the building from his landlord. So he's been operating that store. Even though he's only owned the building a short time, he's operated that store there for, I believe, over 7 years. At this time, I'll ask the board if they'll continue Mr. Nelson's qualification as a real estate expert, and then have Mr. Nelson testify.
Mr. Nelson,
Yes, sir.
since the last time this board qualified you as an expert in real estate, have your credentials been changed in any way?
No, sir.
You are qualified to?
My knowledge.
Not, you don't know it. You can continue qualified as a expert in regard to real estate.
Thank you. I handed in several exhibits, inclusive of photographs of the subject property and the surrounding uses. There's 23 photographs in that packet, and in my opinion, they fairly and accurately represent the subject property and the surrounding area. It would be what the board would view if they hadn't already inspected the subject property and the surrounding area. I handed in some aerial views with the County of Nassau Department of Assessment tax map attached to it as well, and a consultant report for the economic analysis of the subject property. I have some more of the consultant report. The property is entirely within a business zone. The area is mixed use on the westerly side of Lawson Boulevard. Much of the properties are industrial uses, some business uses. As you go slightly further, the Long Island Railroad, and there are some retail stores with apartments above the stores. The easterly side, predominantly commercial. There is some residential, and we have what is known on the radius map as 107 Lawson Realty Company LLC, generally a bus depot, school bus depot, and storage of school buses when not in operation. The residential community would be east of Lawson Boulevard, east of the business zone, and they're typically one-family homes in the residential B district. As Council mentioned, the northeast corner of Lawson Boulevard and Montgomery Avenue, just outside the 300-foot radius, is a town of Hempstead Oceanside Field number 12, which has 19 parking spaces. There are some restrictions as far as 1 hour, 3 hour, and 12-hour parking in the lot. The property to the north between Montgomery Avenue and Moore Avenue is a service station, gasoline, some repairs, and a convenience market. To the south is a two-story building, somewhat like the subject property, and their parking would be at the northeast corner of Lawson Boulevard and West Cortlandt Avenue. To the south of that would be the continuation, as I just mentioned, for bus storage and parking. As Council mentioned, the building was originally constructed on the 2 tax lots, which are on the northerly side, tax lots 4 and 5. Recently, the parking lot, where we added 9 parking spaces to the building, is on the south side, and that would be tax lots 2 and 3. Originally, the building was constructed with variances and provided no on-site parking. Today, with the use of the proposed use of the second floor and the cafe on the first floor, it will now have 9 parking spaces for that building. Interestingly is that the applicant is seeking a use variance to convert the second floor for offices, from offices to 3 apartments, 3 one-bedroom apartments, and they all average around 500 square feet each, slightly larger, but they're one bedrooms. The office area has not been utilized for many, many years. Typically, many of the 2-story buildings in the area, when they don't have apartments upstairs, our owner uses where the first floor commercial use offices are utilized in the second floor as offices in connection with the first floor uses. That would be comparable to the building, or that would be similar to what the building is utilized just to the south of the subject property. When we have, and if you look at my photographs, page 20, 21, 22, and 23, we do have residential on Lawson Boulevard. We do have apartments above retail, and you'll notice that in my photographs, page 20 and 21, and it's close to the railroad. This property is walking distance to the railroad, weather permits it, I guess, but it's within 5 blocks. The economic consultant report that I've submitted will describe and outline, as it currently exists, the first floor, the second floor. In fact, real estate taxes are almost is $39,500. Insurance is $7,500, and you got some other expenses. The carrying cost of that building is in excess of $70,000. What we're seeking is to provide 3 apartments, and you'll see my analysis where the average rent for the 1 bedrooms are approximately $1,900 each, which in today's market is a fair and reasonable rental for a 1 bedroom. That correlates with a profit on the building, a reasonable return of about 4%, just under 4%, and makes sense. Second floor offices, unless it's owner occupied by the building owner, is almost impossible at this location for a rental. You're not going to put retail on the second floor, and for office space, there's superior locations as far as Long Beach Road and other areas that would be a better suitable location. What I showed you is an economic analysis, the applicant in its current state, and that's why the applicant obtained the building at a low purchase price. The second floor has 2,000 square feet, cannot be rented, has not been rented. That's why the applicant received it at a reasonable purchase price, and I outlined it in the economic analysis. 1-bedroom apartments are in demand. It's a nice transitional parcel at this location. Again, you'd look at who wants apartments on Lawson Boulevard. There is residential within 2 blocks of the subject property, single family, and I provided a photograph where there's a mixed use, retail, and apartments above. It's my opinion that what the applicant seeks before this board for a mixed use, and traditionally, I've been doing this for a while, back since from early 1900s through almost the 1970s, mixed-use buildings were constructed throughout the town of Hempstead on main arterial roads, apartments of retail, apartments over offices. What we're seeking here today is apartments. The property is owner-occupied now as a retail on the first floor cafe. He'll provide for parking that will allow for the residents to have on-site parking, and there is permitted street parking in the area. It's a reasonable request. It's slightly unique to property in that it's a single tenant on the first floor. In fact, the majority of the first floor will be used in conjunction with the second floor as far as interior rubbish storage, bicycle, and storage. That's my case. Testimony. If there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Mr. Minerva, there appears to be a storage container, a cargo container in the parking lot occupying some parking spaces?
Yes, that's going to be removed. So right now, the whole second floor is vacant, so he has a I think he has a container, and he has like a trailer where they would go and sell, food at like truck things and things like that. So that's all gonna be removed from the site. Again, the whole second floor is empty, so his parking lot's empty, so those items will be removed.
Okay. And the food truck, is that, you store that there on site where it is in the
He's
front
going
yard?
to remove that. So right now, I guess it's a trailer for
Okay.
selling food off premises. That will be relocated.
And how about the outdoor dining? Did you address that? What the hours would be of that and so on? Seasonal or?
Yeah, that's seasonal. It's only eight seats. That will be outdoor in front of the premises on the side street. There's a setback there, so it'll be on his property. And in terms of the special use standards, we believe that'll be in harmony with the area. It will not be detrimental to the surrounding properties or prevent the orderly use. And this is a maintained application. Those have been, those dining spaces have been there, and he's been a tenant there. Now he owns the building, but he was a tenant there for, I think, 7, 8 years operating, so there's been no issues with his establishment.
Does the owner work in the cafe or?
No, the owner, so the owner has an employee, he has one employee on each shift. He has multiple businesses, so he just stops in during the day. He does not work there.
Any complaints from the neighbors at parking or any issues at all?
No, we're not aware of any complaints from the neighbors. And again, we'll have our own parking lot for the residents. There's, as Mr. Nelson said, there's a short-term parking lot 1 block away, and then I think a block and a half from us starts the big commuter lots for the railroad, and there's some on-street parking, right in front of the store for anyone who's coming in to grab a coffee and ice cream. So we don't think there'll be any issues with the parking there.
Is that your case?
Unless there's any other questions from the board?
Yes, there is a question.
Is that shed still there?
Yes.
And the shed's going to
Shed-
remain?
Shed's gonna be removed. Yep, everything's gonna be removed.
Everything's going to be
The park-
removed out of there?
Yes, as part of the project to renovate the interior of the building for the apartments, everything will be removed from the parking lot, and the parking spaces will be kept available for the residents.
Just a question, how are the residents going to get up there? They're going to go in the front?
Oh, there's two, actually, I think on the plan, there's 2 staircases. So there's one from inside the building and one outside with a canopy. So both ends, so there's 2 means of egress, and there's 2 staircases. One off of Lawson and one to the rear.
That one to the rear?
One here.
That looks like a
Right.
fire exit.
Oh, yes. It runs along Lawson, but it's accessed off of the side street, Moore Avenue. Yep.
And then you have the secondary for emergency in the rear of the building.
I see that one, okay.
But you do have the cafe entrance on the easterly side off of Moore Avenue, and the apartments closer to Lawson Boulevard off of Moore Avenue.
Okay, so they would go in the front there, the
Right.
front corner,
And that would be
because
separate.
there's like another entrance in the back.
That would be for the cafe.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Mr. Minerva, so there's going to be 3 apartments,
3 one-bedroom
and the
apartments.
3 apartments, how many parking spaces, let's say I become a tenant there, how many spaces am I going to be assigned?
So on the plan, we showed 2 spaces per apartment.
So
I mean,
it's-
for
so-
one-bedroom apartments, that's
So
pretty
6
heavy, but
six of the 9 spaces are going to be taken by the tenants.
yes, that's the way the plan was filed.
And as far as the cafe is concerned, what's the occupancy of it? How many people are in it?
Okay, so there's one employee and,
I've never
it's
been in
most-
it, so I don't
Yeah, one
know.
employee, and I believe there's 6 seats inside. I'm looking at the plan now. There's 6 seats inside. It's mostly a takeout cafe.
Oh.
It's not a restaurant.
Oh, so it's not it's a takeout
No, it's a
place.
takeout
Okay.
cafe, and they're allowed, as a takeout and not a restaurant, they're allowed to have up to 12 seats in the premises. They have 6 in the premises, and then we're gonna have the seasonal 8 in front.
I was looking at the picture of the building, and it looks like it's bigger than that, but I guess that's just the entrance on the left.
Yes, the
On Moore
entrance.
Street to the upstairs, you mean?
On Moore Street is
In other words,
the,
if you're looking at it, it all says Dulce on it.
Well, it's advertising.
Yeah,
You-
no,
you
no,
hear-
I know, but I didn't, from looking at it,
Yeah,
I
the
didn't.
cafe is not the.
No, is the
yes.
cafe's in the front, you mean
No,
to the right?
It's in the back, so if you, it's
the
not
first floor.
facing Lawson, it's off of Moore, but it's, the entrance is, you know, to the east along Moore.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Have a motion? So
Thank you.
moved. Second. Sorry. Aye.
Next, we have cases 39925 through 425, Woodmere, Verizon New York Incorporated. Variances, front yard average setback, rear yard maintained transformer and dumpster in conjunction with existing building. Variance in off-street parking with insufficient maneuvering aisle. Install Bloom Energy servers in conjunction with existing building, also known as 108 Franklin Place.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Pellegrini? Keeping the place in order? Shall I roll? Yes, okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Al Amato, Amato Law Group, 666 Old Country Road, Suite 901, Garden City, New York. I'm here this afternoon on behalf of Verizon New York. I have 4 variance applications before the board this afternoon. The first 3 deal with maintaining existing conditions. Specifically, there is a variance requested for a transformer that was installed by PSE&G, I think back in 2011. The existing setback is 3 feet while 20 feet is required. There is an existing dumpster that has also been out there for many years, probably about the same age as the parking configuration, which is about 70 years old. And that has a rear yard setback of 6 feet, and the code requires 10 feet. The drive aisle or the maneuvering aisle is sub-code standard. It's less than 24 feet, but once again, that drive aisle has been out there for about 70 years. Finally, we are requesting a parking variance. The applicant is requesting permission to install certain fuel cells. After the installation, there'll be 17 parking spaces at the site. The code, through a stressed reading of it, requires 138 spaces. I'll get into that. But the site never has more than 5 employees at any given time. I'll go through some prerequisites, and obviously we're asking for a neg deck and the secret. Property is 108 Franklin Place, Woodmere, Section 39, Block 212, lots 44 and 47. It's L-shaped and contains .67 acres. It's zoned Business X. It's owned and operated by Verizon as a telephone exchange. Significantly, the site has been there since 1926. Basically, this site makes everybody's landlines operate. Copper, fiber is the primary use of the property, and
it's not manually operated. So at most, the gentleman next to me is the global head of real estate from Verizon, and he'll give some more details about the occupancy of the site. The site's not open to the public, and it does contain no business office. The area, yes, sir.
The site plan shows existing PSEG transformer.
Yes.
Is that what you're applying for also, to legalize that?
Yes, so there's 3 existing conditions. If you look at these, at the plan, the transformer was site selected by PSEG in 2011. They placed it there. Right along Franklin Place, this for means of reference, and we have a lot of expert reports, but basically all along Franklin Place, PSEG just kind of drops these wherever they want. Verizon has no control over it, and along Franklin Place, there is 0 to almost no front yard setbacks.
But you're being charged with legalizing it.
Yes. Well, we're being I think the trigger, Mr. Pellegrini, is that we are asking to add fuel cells, which are only going to service the building as a secondary means of receiving electricity for the building. And once it got before the building department, there's a number of long-standing existing non-conforming conditions that we're being asked to be made compliant.
And one of them is the transformer.
Yes, sir.
It says permit application, this is accurate, 24-1656, that's what's currently before us. And,
Yes,
and,
I think so.
and PSENG has authorized you to represent them?
We have not asked their permission. But I mean, I guess it's their property, but it's on our, physically, the equipment is their equipment, but it's on our property.
How does that figure? Do they have permission to represent them?
I mean,
Doesn't
frankly,
have that.
we've never been asked before in several
To do
hundred
that.
applications to legalize a PSEG transformer. I mean, they're their own government, I think.
That's what I thought, that's... Okay.
So,
Christina?
I guess you haven't seen it either.
What's that, I'm sorry?
Have you
You're
seen
at
it
this?
before?
No,
Yeah,
And-
after about 35 years.
and I don't know what, I'm not an attorney, I don't know what gives you, quote-unquote, the authority to represent PSENG. What if you were to lose the case, get denied? There's some type of implication that PSENG would have.
In my world of scenarios, I couldn't imagine that would be the case.
But it could be. Well, are they aware of the application?
I don't know. Are they?
They're not.
They're not.
They're aware of the interconnect agreement for the fuel cell.
Right, they're aware of the interconnect agreement for the fuel cell, but not specifically the fact that they put a PSEG transformer within the setback. But that is also, if you go along Franklin Place, there's transformers all along the setback.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's not what's before us technically.
Right.
I would think that Verizon would have some type of a liability now if this transformer were to have a problem. In my brain, there's a conflict, you representing PSE&G. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but I don't know how we can, again, I don't know how we could rule on.
Well, I mean, so for instance, if there was a piece of air conditioning equipment here that we were leasing, right, and it was on our property, you wouldn't ask the homeowner or business owner to get the permission from the owner of the AC equipment.
No, but I might ask you to show a copy of the lease.
Right, so, as a condition of approval, if the board sees fit to approve it, we will reach out to PSEG and ask for their consent that we could represent them at this application for this very purpose.
After the hearing?
Yeah.
I'll just jump in,
And-
Denise Vista with the Model Law Group. We had conversations with Joe Mirabecki, the plan examiner on this application regarding this very issue. He cited it as being within the front yard setback. We advised this is owned by PSEG, it was installed by PSEG. We have no agreement. There are no easements, there are no agreements on record that were recorded in the property. We've emailed PSEG in connection with this because we didn't have any
in my tenure, and a long time, I don't ever remember anything like this. Perhaps it may have been an application by PSE&G, the owner of the equipment, but not by a third party, if you will, without any authorization.
I've never seen PSEG come before any board for approval for anything.
And you and I have been around a long time.
Yes.
What do you think? Carve that out in the decision?
It was originally, Christina,
Yes.
okay.
It solely services Verizon's property.
So, Mr. Amato, as per the discussion, you will fill in the
Yes.
blanks.
Yeah, I will,
Seek to acquire the consent.
what we'll do is we will, in the first instance, for the board's consideration, we'll send to Ms. Clancy, the power purchase agreement, for the board's consideration, the argument the applicant is presenting for you is that if they're essentially the lessee of a piece of equipment, like a tenant of a piece of equipment, the owner of the piece of equipment, whether it's generator, HVAC, and such, we don't need their consent. The fact that it's placing it on our property, that should be in and of itself, and we'll make that argument to the board along with the power purchase agreement. As a secondary matter, as a belt suspended matter, as suggested with Ms. Clancy, we will reach out to PSE&G and present the fact that we presented the application, that the board would like to see that we were authorized as co-applicant on a limited portion of this application to present the variance on behalf of PSE&G for the front yard setback. And we'll send you a copy of that request as well, and we'll update you in the correspondence if and when received.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I just wanted to give the board a little briefing on the fuel cell. The fuel cells will only serve this property. They're not feeding the grid. So it's just another source of electricity. It converts gas, natural gas to electricity, so there's no combustion, electrical storage, fuel storage, there's no batteries, and again, once again, significantly, nothing's going back to the grid. It's 200 kW. So it's not a ton of electricity, that it's just a clean way and a much more efficient way to provide power to the building, and it reduces stress on the grid, which helps increase reliability for this critical piece of infrastructure.
What goes on in the building that needs this much power, if you will?
Yes, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Alan Struck. I'm the Senior Manager for Verizon Global Real Estate and Energy Engineering and Construction. This facility is a critical network facility for Verizon, where it houses digital switches that support the telecommunications network on a copper and fiber basis. This is a key component for the community for its access to the telecommunications network, as well as emergency services through 911 and such. That's what the facility is used for. There's about 5 employees, network technicians, that report to this facility on a regular basis to operate and maintain that network.
Is there a similar one of the same type in Bethpage by the Grumman, the credit union over there?
Are you talking about the telephone exchange or the Bloom facility?
These transformers, the fuel cells.
So there's actually, let me get the exact number. There are a number of them in the town of Hempstead. We have provided a list. I think there are 7 within the town, and significantly, again, these were issued by the building department as a building permit only. This is permitted equipment under the code. The only reason we're here is that because we're putting it with some parking stalls, that triggers less parking available, and so it was kind of like a theoretical reason why we had to come here. It has nothing to do with permitting the use. That's not before this.
Okay. Thank you.
And we did provide a list of the 7 that are in Hempstead that were building permit only, and there's a total of 29 of them in Long Island in general.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I apologize, and 9 of which of those fuel cell sites do service Verizon buildings.
Okay.
So I'd like to just touch upon the 267B3 standards. No undesirable change in the character of the community, building, but for adding these fuel cells in a spot that's fairly innocuous. There's no change to the use. There's no change to anything that's not have existed there already. Again, the site's there for 100 years. Current configuration's been out there for 70 years. No alternative methods, as we have spoken about in detail. PSE&G decided where they were going to drop the transformer. They dropped the transformer, so we really had no say over it. They didn't ask our opinion or our consent. The dumpster is the only feasible location based upon site access. If you look at the configuration, and we'll have the architect come up, but it's a straight line shot from the street to where the dumpster is, comes in, backs up, empties the trash, and pulls out on a one-shift basis. The fuel cell, the architect will go through. There is no other feasible location on the entire property, around the property, on top of the building, some level of detail, hopefully to the satisfaction of the board. I pro-offer that the variances requested are not substantial. The bulk of the properties along Franklin Place have zero or very little front yard setback either to the building or to the pertinent equipment. We have an exhibit actually this is a record that's attached to the planning report showing a map and showing all the other sites that this is in line with along the block. And again, that's we're talking about the transformer. The dumpster is concealed from public view based upon how it's tucked into the property. The 17 parking spaces, that is, as you've heard, is more than sufficient to satisfy the needs of the building. It's actually 12 surplus spaces. The building department, it was a bit of a strained reading of the code, but there's no alternative. There is no parking requirement for telephone exchange in the code. So it's commercial or it's office. And so they took some type of blend where office, as the board knows, is 1 space per 200, commercial 1 per 500. But obviously you're dealing with something where the general public has access to a lot more traffic. Here we're dealing with 5 techs at most at any given time, but there's simply there's no code section to deal with.
You have to bring the microphone closer. Stephanie's having a hard time.
Okay. Anything you want me to repeat, Stephanie? Sure. So there is no code section that addresses telephone exchanges for the parking calculation. What the building department used for the building was a blend of the office parking requirement, which is 1 space per 200, and the commercial, which is 1 space per 500 square feet.
That's this one, right?
And in terms of not substantial, we're not changing the drive aisle width. And to the contrary, there's one area where we're increasing the 18-foot existing width to 22 feet, so we're actually improving the existing condition to a degree. We pro-offer, and we have a very detailed planning report from VHB Engineering that this site has no adverse effect on land, groundwater, noise, air quality, traffic, or other environmental conditions. And finally, we'll pro-offer for the 5th requirement for the statutory variance requirements that this condition was not self-created. First, the utility company dictated the location of the transformer. Second, the dumpster is a straight path for the garbage truck, and so there's no other real feasible location for the dumpster. The drive aisle, which again, that width has been there for 70 years, is dictated by the constraints of the actual building and the lot. And finally, to deal with the parking count, we also pro-offer that since that the code does not provide for a parking calculation for a telephone exchange, and since that is essentially almost an unmanned operation, virtually unmanned, we are asking for this variance because the code simply does not address this particular use. We have submitted to the board a number of reports, and I was going to have a couple of the experts speak and then open it up for any board questions. Before you, you have a report from planning and zoning analysis by VHB Engineering. David Wortman is in attendance, and he can speak to that report. We also have an acoustical analysis prepared by VHB Engineering. That's item number 2, and David Wortman also could speak to that report. We have an air quality assessment by VHB Engineering. Again, David Wortman could address that. We have an affidavit by Alex, which addresses the necessity of only 5 parking spaces for the site. Item number 5 is a parking access and traffic circulation assessment signed by Joshua Herman of Stonefield Engineering. And Mr. Herman is also present and can testify as to both site circulation and the fact that the 12 spots, or 17 spots rather, is more than sufficient for this use. We have a real estate consulting report by Mr. Lynch, which will address the lack of real estate impact on the surrounding property values. We have a safety assessment report prepared by Bloom Energy and Paul Jacobson. regarding the safety of the equipment, and Mr. Paul Jacobson is present right now to speak to this report. We have an alternative location report signed by Robert Haymack, the architect for the site, which goes through the fact there's no other feasible alternative place to locate the equipment. We have copies of the 8 building permits issued by the building department for the existing fuel cell sites that exist in the town as of right. And we have a list of Bloom Energy facilities throughout Long Island. All the expert reports and affidavits, I do have an expert for each of these reports and affidavit that could testify as to them. And if the board has no questions at this moment, I wanted to call up the architect just to say a few words. Yes, sir.
I'm familiar with the area. There's also a town of Hempstead lot on Central Avenue and Franklin Avenue. Looks like it's got 50 spots in it as far as parking is concerned. It's within a block of your 2 blocks of your office, of your facility, so.
Okay, thank you. Right, so I guess the point being, if we have had some excess, there's somewhere we could go with the excess. Gotcha. I do appreciate that point. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, so, Robert Haymack, please, thank you.
We'll hear from the architect, otherwise we'll be here for 2 days.
Could you please state your name for the record, please?
My name is Robert Haymack from WFC Architects, 12 Technology Drive, Setauket, New York.
Mr. Haymack, could you just run through kind of the whole configuration of the building, the lot where the fuel cells are going, and what you did to explore other feasible locations?
Sure. So there are a few areas where we would install equipment, not necessarily of this nature, but mechanical equipment, including on the roof. We had looked at the feasibility of that. The roof is not capable of supporting the physical loads. We looked at the possibility of installing dunnage to support it. For one, it would have been much more visible and unsightly to the neighbors than the current location where it's essentially not visible. The other issue is it requires extensive service access. They need to be able to get equipment that can't be carried by hand. So if we had placed it up there, we would have needed to have provided an external staircase and an elevator, or the vendor, every time they came to service it, would have needed cranes or a cherry picker or a lift to get on the roof. If we were to move it further back along the same side of the building, we would have a greater impact on the number of parking spaces that would have to be eliminated. And we're constricted because there is an entrance to the building on that side that we would be blocking. If we pushed it across the drive aisle, which is the only other location that would physically fit, we would lose more parking spaces. We'd be directly adjacent to a neighbor. We'd be encroaching in side yard setback. And we'd be forced to trench across the drive aisle, which has other utilities and site drainage.
Oh, I got it.
The location, ultimately what we determined was the location where it's placed was our only option, where it was feasible on this site. Should we speak to the dumpster or the other components of the application?
If I may,
Sure.
all of your information, Mr. Motto, has been supplied back up in their
Yes.
reports. I think you've done
They speak for themselves, and I think you've made a very,
I politely accept your cue.
pardon?
I politely accept your cue. So,
Okay.
So we do have Mr. Herman here from Stonefield, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Jacobson, Ms. Grillo from Bloom Energy, and David Wortman. If all the
I
reports,
believe-
everything they're going to say is in the record. If you have any questions, more than happy to present anyone you'd like to hear from.
I believe the reports speak for themselves, Mr. Amato.
Yes,
And the board acknowledges their presence.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When the board renders its decision, you will be notified.
Thank you for an
Second.
incredibly complete presentation.
Aye.
Second?
Second.
Aye. How many, all in favor? I thank you for sparing us a week's worth of testimony. Mr. Amato, Thank you for sparing us a week's worth of testimony. Oh, I'm recused on the following two cases. You will chair. The weight of it all. That's because he's never come in without 8 people.
He's here to make it thorough.
Let me know when I can come back.
Mr. Bianco, you didn't sign in. Is this your first time here? You did? Jeff Nelson and Robert O'Brien.
Next, we have cases 40125, Roosevelt, New York Land Development 2 Corporation, variances subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, construct dwelling with garage, parcel B, west side Park Avenue, 108.52 feet north of Greenwich Avenue, as well as case 40225, Roosevelt, 345 Park Avenue, Roosevelt, LLC, variances subdivision of lot, front width from and on street line to front setback line, side yards aggregate, maintained dwelling on a lesser lot, parcel A, also known as 345 Park Avenue.
Yes, for the applicants, Robert W. O'Brien, 877 North Corona Avenue, North Valley Street, New York.
Jed Nelson, 446 East Meadow Avenue, P.O. Box 95, East Meadow, New York, 11554.
James Bianco, 1136 Arlington Avenue, Franklin Square.
Good afternoon, Mr. Acting Chair and members of the board. I represent the two applicants, New York Land Development 2 Corp. and 345 Park Avenue, Roosevelt, LLC, with respect to the instant application for a 2-lot subdivision in the hamlet of Roosevelt. At the outset, I would like to move to have the 2 cases consolidated and heard as one. Thank you, sir. With me here, he's put his appearance on record. To my right is real estate expert Jed Nelson, who's prepared to testify regarding the nature and character of the area and the benefit of the application to the applicants outweigh any detriment to the surrounding community. And also to his right is James Bianco, the principal of New York Land Development 2 Corp., to answer any questions the board may have regarding the new construction portion of the application. The property that is the subject of this application is on the west side of Park Avenue, the hamlet of Roosevelt, approximately 108.52 feet north of Greenwich Avenue. And just for the record, it's known on the Nassau County tax map, section 50, block 513, and lot 24. The property as it currently exists is a perfect, I was going to use the word rectangle, but I see the angles on it. It's a parallelogram.
That's
and I
it.
wish Mrs. D'Amato were here for word of the day, because I think, I never thought I'd ever use that word after I got out of 9th grade, when I was 17. Anyhow, it has 100 feet of frontage on Park Avenue as a rear property line of 100 feet, and then there is 200 feet of depth on each side. So the applicant is looking to subdivide the property into 2 new 50 by 200 parcels, that'd be 10,000 square feet of area, and then construct a new one-family dwelling with garage on the southerly portion of the property, and maintain the existing dwelling, excuse me, on the northerly side. Each new parcel, as I said, will have 50 feet of frontage on Park Avenue, 200 feet of depth, 50 feet rear property line, again, 10,000 square feet of area. Plenty of area.
10,000 square feet each parcel.
I'm sorry?
10,000
Square feet each parcel, Ms. Pellegrini.
Okay, thank you.
So the variance needed for the construct are for the subdivision itself and front width from and on street line to the front setback line, and the variance needed to maintain the existing dwelling in its present location are for subdivision of the lot, again, front width from and on street line to the front setback line, side yard and side yard aggregate. And the reason for those variances are simply because where the division line for a 50-foot frontage and a 50-foot frontage puts that in close proximity to that division line. But
Thank
the
you.
only one being affected is the maintained property, who is part of the application. As is my practice, I made a visit to the property, did an inspection of the surrounding area on June 24th. As the board may note, just to the north of the maintain is a New York State property. It says Southern State. It is a heavily wooded portion. Park Avenue in that vicinity is not an exit for the Southern State. Is limited traffic going back and forth. It connects over into Uniondale. If you know Smith Street is a major street, residential street in Uniondale. And I believe it's considered to be a yard, but it's so overgrown, it looks like there hasn't been activity there in years. So I'll probably find out that the state is moving earth there or something, but it looked like nobody has been on that property in 10 years when I went out there. There are substandards in the area which my colleague, Mr. Nelson, is going to speak about, and unless the board has any questions of me at this time, I'll let Mr. Nelson make his presentation.
Is your client, New York Land Development 2, contract vendee?
It is a contract vendee for the vacant parcel.
Thank you. And you also represent 345 Park.
Yes, I do, Ms. Pilgrim.
Thank
I
you.
represent both in the application.
Mr. Nelson?
Mr. Acting Chairman, members of the board, my name is Jed Nelson. I am a New York State General Certified Real Estate Appraiser, as well as a New York licensed broker. Since the last time I've testified, my qualifications have not changed.
You may continue as a real estate expert.
Thank you, appreciate that. About a month ago, I submitted photographs, uploaded them to your website. I hope you guys all had a chance to look at them. If not, I do have a package here. If you want, I'll submit those.
I believe we have them, thank you.
Okay, in addition to the photographs which were taken by me on Monday, June 23rd at about 11 a.m. in the morning, these photos are of the subject property and the surrounding properties. In my professional opinion, they accurately depict the neighborhood. In addition, in that package is a radius map which I have highlighted some of the surrounding properties. It bears legends to the highlight, as well as copies of some variances that were issued in the immediate area. As council stated, the subject property is located on the west side of Park Avenue, 108.52 feet north of Greenwich Avenue in the unincorporated hamlet of Roosevelt, part of the town of Hempstead, Nassau County, New York. It is designated as Section 50, Block 513, Lot 24 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. It has a physical address of 345 Park Avenue, Roosevelt, New York, and it is presently zoned Residence A by the Town of Hempstead Building Department. Presently, the property maintains 100 feet of street frontage along Park Avenue with equal depths of 200 feet. It's rectangular or
Parallel.
Thank you, containing a total of 20,000 square feet in total lot area. It is one of the
What
larger.
a parallelogram is, right?
It's like a rectangle, but not with right angles. Right? Opposite sides are equal, but there are no, I'm
No.
sorry?
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you.
Thus,
But they're.
parallelogram.
Oh, okay.
Is that your testimony?
No. But thank you.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry I forced you to say that.
No worries. I'm glad you were there to help me. It is one of the larger parcels in the immediate area. There are a couple of very unique aspects to the subject property. The first, the existing home is situated along the northern portion of the site, which will enable the subdivision of the lot without having to demolish the existing home. Secondly, the property sides to a very large buffer zone of the Southern State Parkway and what appears to be watershed or water company land.
Just reading that.
The Southern State Parkway is located between 200 and 250 feet north of the subject property. The applicant is proposing to subdivide the existing 20,000 square foot parcel into two equal 10,000 square foot sites with 50 feet of street frontage on each. The existing home will remain on a 50 by 200 foot lot containing 10,000 square feet, and a new modest two-story colonial style dwelling will be built on the new lot, also being 50 feet frontage, 200 feet in depth, and containing a total of 10,000 square feet in lot area. The two new lots will be similar in size to a few oversized parcels in the immediate area and still larger than most in this immediate area. Within the 100-foot radius, there are 8 improved parcels. 5 of the 8, or 62.5% of these lots, are substandard in size based on the Residence A zoning requirements, either in street frontage or in total lot area. 3 of the 8, or 38%, are equal to or smaller in lot area and street frontage than what is proposed by this two-lot subdivision application. Within the 200-foot radius, there are 21 improved lots. 11 of the 21, or 53%, are substandard in size based upon the Residence A zoning requirements. 9 of the 21, or 43%, are equal to or smaller in lot area and or street frontage than what is being proposed by this application. Third, it's a unique part. There are no other parcels in this area that can be subdivided without demolishing the existing residence. Therefore, the possibility of another subdivision is not likely, as the financial aspect of demolishing one of these homes on the larger lots is cost prohibited. Therefore, the subject property is very unique parcel. Also making this application unique is the lot abutting the subject property to the south at the northwest corner of Park Avenue and Greenwich Avenue is a lot that was granted a variance in 1973. A high ranch-style home was built facing Greenwich Street with an oversized large garage, detached garage, facing onto Park Avenue, abutting the subject property, therefore offering a good buffer to the existing residents at the northwest corner of Park and Greenwich. Additionally, the lot to the west of the corner lot on the north side of Greenwich Avenue, 55 feet west of Park Avenue and abutting the subject property to the south, received a variance as well as part of this subdivision for street frontage and lot area. The two lots further to the west, both of which abut the subject property, would have required variances as well, although I was unable to find them within the records. Both lots afford 45 feet of street frontage and are smaller in size than what's being proposed by this application. Slightly to the, I'm sorry. I'll cover that later. Therefore, once again, making this subject parcel very unique in that all lots abutting the subject property would be smaller in lot area and or street frontage after the subdivision if it was approved. So therefore, this application will not alter the essential characteristics of the subject neighborhood. This proposed application will not adversely affect the market value, the marketability, or the quiet enjoyment of any of the abutting properties or other properties in this area. Worth west of the subject property, located approximately 300 to 325 feet west of Park Avenue. It's noted as lots 17 and 18 on the radius map, and within 100 feet is a very similar variance that was granted in 1970, which subdivided a very similar size 100 by 200 foot lot into two equal 50-foot by 200-foot parcels containing the same 10,000 square feet in lot area as proposed by this application. All utilities are readily available on Park Avenue. Existing homes in the area are selling between $350,000 to over $750,000. The anticipated sales price for the proposed new construction should be in the higher $700,000 range, thereby offering good neighborhood support for values for the area without posing any detriment to the neighborhood. In my professional opinion, the proposed application for the subdivision with maintaining the existing home and developing one new home makes good sense and is a smart development. If the board requires, I have prepared economics on this. Okay, the economics are as follows. The parcel was purchased January 22 of 2024 for $375,000. The total as-is value on the entire lot I estimate to be between $450,000 to $500,000. The maintain on the reduced lot I estimate to be between $425,000 to $450,000. A building site in this area is worth approximately $250,000 to $275,000. And once again, the new construction I have estimated will sell approximately $775,000. Therefore, the land acquisition of $275,000, estimated building costs, both soft and hard costs, are estimated at $300,000, bringing the total cost of this project to approximately $575,000. The sales price, once again, at $775,000. A recognized profit before broker fees is estimated to be approximately $200,000 to the applicant, making the project very viable and without any detriment to the community. That is my testimony. Thank you.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
a few questions. On parcel A, which is the maintain,
Yes.
okay, so the minimum front width is to be 80 feet. What is the proposed?
The front width is 50 feet.
I mean 60, 50 feet,
You should-
right? Okay. With respect to the minimum side yard would be 5 feet. What are the side yards on this?
Jim, do you have it? Because it's, I apologize. My apologies, because I can't see print that small. I know it's...
2.67 feet.
And the other side?
The other side will be 8.5 feet at the front and just over 20 feet at the rear.
Okay. And the side yard aggregate?
The side yard aggregate in the front will be approximately 22 feet. In the back is just over 23 feet. The rear property, the rear building line on the north side, once again, has a side yard of 20 feet 7 inches. The south side has 2.67 inches, so just approximately 23 feet aggregate.
Okay, so the required is 15. I believe you have on your, the map here, 11.17. The side yard aggregate
On,
on parcel A. You have side yard aggregate, the required is 15, and and you have the proposed as 11.17. I just want to make sure we have the same numbers.
Okay, then, again, might be at the front. That might be at the front, so the front has, is it this big? I know, there's no measurement there, but it's at 8.5. 27, right, so that's almost 23. So, at the front property line, building line, excuse me, the front building line of parcel A, the aggregate side yards would be approximately 23 feet.
Okay, well, just look at your numbers that you have listed here. I'm just reading from your numbers on
No,
parcel A.
I understand. I did not prepare those numbers. I'm just reading off what the, what it says on the surveys.
Okay, but you would agree these numbers must be correct, that it should be 15 and you have 11.17, the smallest.
Understood?
Okay. And with respect to parcel B, which is going to be your new one, I believe the only variance is the minimum front width.
Front width and subdivision itself.
Right. Okay, thank you.
I would like to also add that the proposed new construction has put the larger of the two side yard requirements to the north at 10 feet, thereby increasing the distance between the existing residence and the proposed residence, thereby giving it the view of a wider side yard.
Okay, thank you.
Nassau County Planning, no, sorry. You're,
Not today, tomorrow.
no, they delayed one of our cases. Non-conforming. You file for non-conforming, that you have to obtain building permits for the existing house, obviously, one-story rear addition, permit for, second floor alteration and bathroom, permit for the fencing, permit for the heating, permit for the second floor bathrooms, 2 sheds and awnings to be removed. And you're aware of that?
Mr. Bianco, Mr. Bianco's aware of it, and with those acceptable conditions that they have to be done.
That's good.
Jim Bianco, New York Land Development. I believe those applications were filed to legalize, and whatever is noted to be demolished also was noted on the site plan.
Okay, it's on the record now, and that's what you want.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Is that your case, Mr.
Just wrapping up, what I'd like to just cover very simply is if you look at the 4 residential properties to the south, that'd be lots 21, 35, 42, and 41. They total, the 4 homes total roughly 21,600 square feet, or 5,400 feet per household. This is 20,000 square feet, so it'll be 10,000 square feet per household, much larger. And as my client has often said, he's willing to accept any of the reasonable and customary conditions that the board is known to impose, which include to make sure that the property is used as a one-family dwelling rather than a multifamily one, and that would include the owner-occupied provision. So he'll accept that as a condition of the grant.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's our case, unless the board has anything more.
Have a motion to close?
I make a motion that the hearing be closed and the case be placed on the decision calendar. You will be notified, all people that signed in will be notified of the decision.
Second?
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
I'll try never having to say parallelogram again.
I think Mr. Nelson got it this time.
Yeah, I think he got stuck at, like musical chairs. He just wasn't standing.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Even I remember that.
Next, we have case 32825, Oceanside Agro Holdings LLC, variance in off-street parking and special exception for outdoor storage of commercial vehicles, contractors' equipment, also known as 2864 Woods Avenue. Ms. Minerva, I have you sworn in from earlier, just your name and address again for the record.
Dominic Minerva, Minerva and D'Agostino, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, attorney for the applicant. The application,
Hold on a second. Mr. Minerva, are you here on this case, folks?
They have to sign it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have to sign it. I'll
okay. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
the application of Agro Holdings LLC before you today for a special exception and parking variance to permit the outdoor storage of commercial vehicles. Subject property is known as 2864 Woods Avenue, in Oceanside. It's also known as Section 38, Block 379, Tax Lot 100 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. It's located at the northwest corner of Woods Avenue and Court Street. Subject premises consists of 7,462 square feet and is improved with a 2,771 square foot, one-story building built in 1956. The owner utilizes the rear portion for an office and warehouse, and the front portion fronting on Woods Avenue is rented to a barber shop. The relief requested is for a special exception for overnight outdoor storage of commercial vehicles and a parking variance only for the parking demand resulting from the area proposed for the outdoor storage of vehicles. Specifically, the applicant is seeking to store 6 vehicles consisting of 3 pickup trucks, 2 dump trucks, and 1 backhoe that are used in connection with the applicant's paving business. This is a satellite location with the applicant's primary location located in Queens. The applicant is proposing to store these vehicles at this site to assist him with the logistics of servicing his customers in Nassau County. There'll be no storing of materials at this site, no unloading or unloading of any material, and the vehicles will leave the site in the morning empty and come back at the end of the workday empty, just to be stored overnight.
What hours would they be doing in and out?
So
You know.
in the morning, they would leave at approximately 6:30 a.m., and then they would come back in the afternoon, approximately 3:30 p.m.
Thank you.
The pickup trucks may access the site during the workday to switch out the tools, but the larger vehicles will not be in and out of this site at all during the day, except as I just described. There will be only 5 employees at this site, which are the drivers of the vehicles. So most of the day, there will be no employees at this site, and not all vehicles will be used every day.
You going?
As the only parking variance required is for the parking related to the vehicle storage area, the personal vehicles of the employees that drive, the commercial vehicles can easily be accommodated on site once the commercial vehicles are pulled out. Surrounding the subject premises is a restaurant and a plumbing supply warehouse across the street to the east, a 2-family dwelling across the street to the south, a mixed-use building for a real estate office and dwelling to the north, and a single-family residence to the west, and an auto repair shop diagonally to the southeast. I'm submitting photographs taken by myself on May 14, 2025, which I believe fairly and accurately depict the subject premises and the surrounding uses I just described as applicant's Exhibit A. And I also have an applicant's Exhibit B, which is a petition of consent from the restaurant located directly across the street and from the owner to the north in the mixed-use real estate office and dwelling, once I find it, as applicant's Exhibit B. I would note with regard to the special exception criteria in the town code, the following. The first 2 criteria is that the use will not prohibit the orderly and reasonable use of adjacent properties, nor prevent the orderly and reasonable use of legally permitted or established uses. It's our position that the simple storage of the few commercial vehicles, 3 of which are only pickup trucks, with the low volume of trips that these vehicles will make to and from the site, will not interfere with the orderly and reasonable use of adjacent properties, based upon my description of the surrounding area and the description of the manner in which this property will be used. The safety, health, and welfare of the community will not be adversely affected by location of the use. Subject property is on a corner parcel with only one residential property, single-family residential property abutting the premises. It's surrounded by other commercial uses and mixed uses, as I have just described. And the use will be in harmony and promote the general purpose of the ordinance. The office and warehouse is permitted use and has a certificate of occupancy. The storage of the vehicles used in connection with that operation, as I described, will be in harmony with the code. And we request your favorable consideration and remain available for any questions the board or the public may have.
So is the barber shop before us?
No.
And that provides its own parking? Is that a closed out?
No, the building, it is not closed out, but the building was built before the parking regulations, so there is no off-street parking required for the building itself. We did file an application. It's an application, 25-6059, for the barber shop, but that's not fully processed yet.
Will that be coming before the board?
My belief is that it will not, but I cannot state that with 100% certainty. When this building had a change of use for the CO that's in place now, the building department took the position that since it was built before parking requirements, we did not need to comply with off-street parking. Assuming they continue that same interpretation, then it should not come before this board for variance. So that's my expectation, subject to the plan review.
Your photos that you submitted, it's subject premise on Court Street. There's a fenced out area, almost looks like a dog pen. What is that, and what is that used for?
I'm just going to consult my client with that for a minute. So my client's informing me that that's just used where they put, when they do put out the garbage, they put it in the fenced-in area. That's all it's used for.
Has that always been there?
No, I believe they installed that. They installed that when they renovated the building, but he told me other than the garbage and he said most of the area is just not used.
Isn't this a dry cleaner before? With
No,
the building?
There was no parking, no.
No, a dry cleaner.
Say that again?
It was a dry cleaning
Yes,
establishment.
it was a drive-through dry cleaner.
Yeah,
Correct.
so,
With the canopy on the side.
and there were parking spaces I guess for cars to go to the dry cleaner, right?
Not that I'm aware of. Like I said, the building was sealed without any parking. The photos that I saw for the dry cleaner, and I don't have a photo
It
here
was
with
there for
me.
years, because I used to pass by
Yeah,
it all the
so
time.
the,
It's across
on
from Elliott
Woods-
Smith and Jones, right?
So if you pull in off of Woods Avenue,
Yeah.
and I have that in one of my photos, the Woods Avenue is actually the first photo. The whole place had an overhang, so it was just to drive through. So I don't believe there was any actual spaces for people, striped spaces for people, code compliant for people to park. It was just drive-through.
And Mr. Minerva, when you say commercial vehicles being parked, what kind of commercial vehicles?
Okay, so I listed that. So it's 3 pickup trucks.
For now, in other words, you're gonna want, that's the way it's gonna stay?
Yes,
There's
that's the
not
way-
gonna be the dumpsters and all
Correct.
kinds of other stuff?
That's the way it's going to stay, and the applicant will accept any conditions related thereto. It's 3 pickup trucks, 2 dump trucks, and 1 backhoe. No, no trailer. No trailer. It drives. Yeah, drives on the street. Mhm. Yeah, yes.
How high is the fence? There's a
I've seen
fence on,
backhoes driving
si-
on streets.
no,
Oh. Yeah, he confirmed they drive it. They're specialty plates, they drive it to the job sites. It does not go on a trailer.
Okay, thank you, I apologize.
No. How tall's the fence? Two sides of the property?
So there's a 6-foot fence, and that's on both sides of the property with the gates, and it's all in the photos.
Right, no, I've seen it,
Yep.
okay. How far above the fence will you see the dump truck and the backhoe?
So the pickup truck should not go over the 6 feet, and the other vehicles will be between 9 and 10 feet.
Are the dump trucks and the backhoe, are they parked toward the residential or parked onto the right, which would be towards another business?
So it's not, the use is not in operation at this point, but my client's certainly willing to park specific vehicles in specific spots. So the property to the north, which is the mixed-use commercial and residential, consented to the granting of the application, the owner did. We can certainly park the dump trucks on that side, so they'd be away from the residential home to the
What about
west.
that backhoe?
The backhoe.
The backhoe would go one of the 4 spaces that are to the west of the building, the rear.
It would have to go to the
Yeah.
rear.
That's
I don't know if we'd
resident-
ha-
that's
Let
residential.
me see if we'd have room. If we have room, we could put it on that side too. Okay, yeah, we can move the backhoe there too. So none of the larger vehicles would be would be stored to the rear of the premises near the single-family dwelling. All of the larger ones would be stored alongside the the mixed-use property to the north.
So, Mr.
Okay,
Miner,
I noticed that the gate is further back than the front of the the front of the building.
Yes.
Is that for parking of the people who work in the barber shop?
I don't believe so. So it's set back because there is a side entrance into the barber shop. But yes, the barber shop people sometimes use that for
Okay,
parking.
how many people other than the barber shop people are there every day?
I believe there are one owner and 2 employees, so there's anywhere from 2 to 3 barbers at a time.
Do we have a copy of the CO?
2 to 3 barbers at a time.
Okay, but the people who are not barbers, how
Yeah.
many people are there?
Well, they can only service 3 at a time, so it'd be
No,
3
no,
customers and people.
having nothing to do with the barber shop, the
Oh,
one
only
that's
the
the
5
office?
that are driving the vehicles, otherwise there's none.
Oh,
So
okay.
they come in, they drive out the vehicles.
Pull their own
and,
cars in?
And they pull their car, they will, this is not an operation, so they will pull their cars in, and that's the only people that will be there. So for most of the day, there'll be nobody there.
so, Mr. Minerva, I got a question. So your clients, they're contractors, I assume?
Paving contractors, yes.
All right, so they come there, they meet in the morning. Do each one of those trucks, do they have 3 workers meeting them there as a staging ground, then going to their job? I mean, how many people are gonna be parking their car and then getting into the trucks and going to the job? And are they going to be loading the trucks there in the morning?
No, I had indicated in my presentation, there's no loading or unloading, no materials being stored at this place. They're gonna leave empty, and they're gonna come back at the end of the day empty.
Pave my driveway, let's
Right.
say, or my building's parking lot. It's not just these gentlemen, it's their workers. Are the workers meeting them at the job site or meeting them at the contract, at this place of business? And where would they park their cars?
Since you have, some additional operational questions, I'm just gonna have
Yeah.
my client put his name and address on the record and be sworn in.
Thank you.
So he can answer them. Okay, so the question is, other than the 5 drivers, are there any other workers that come to this location, or do they meet you at the job sites?
It could be either or. They could either meet at the job sites or they can meet at the location. Typically, the ones that would be meeting at the location that are extra, they don't drive, they bus in, so it wouldn't be an issue for
What's your name, Mr.?
Antonio.
Antonio. So Antonio, so let's say you have a job in, I don't know, East Meadow, and you're paving something, and you have 3 or 4 workers. Are they meeting at your place of business in Oceanside, the place that you want to store your commercial vehicles, parking their cars someplace, and then driving with you in your trucks to job?
No.
So how are they getting to the job? That's my point. In other words, the rest of the 5 workers that you have driving the trucks are not the only people that are working for you, right? You have pavers, you have laborers, and so
Yes,
forth.
there are
So
other
how,
employees.
so how are they getting there? That's my point.
They'll meet at a location typically.
So in other words, you're saying they're never going to stage at this area. They're going to meet at whatever job site it is.
That's correct.
Okay.
That concludes your presentation.
That concludes my presentation. We request favorable consideration and remain available for any questions from the public.
We have some people who are in opposition. Would you like to speak? Go through this.
Good afternoon. My name is Catherine Michelizzi. I'm property owner of 2884 Court Street, Oceanside, New York, 11572. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to air our concerns. As you can see from your pictures, our property is literally 1 foot from where the applicant would like to park his vehicles. Just a little bit of history. We're at this property for 17 years without incident. There was a drive-through dry cleaner there previously. There's no issue with the fact that it's a commercial property, although Court Street is residential. I'm sorry, I'm nervous, my voice is shaking.
Take your time.
So we never had an issue. We had remained very amicable through 17 years. When the applicant purchased the property, moved in, we endured renovations. We were very amicable and cooperative and maintained a level of respect, even though it was very, very disruptive. We knew it was temporary. They made improvements, beautiful improvements to the building, which of course made us happy, as we can see it from every window in our home. Then that was over, and then the barber shop opened. Okay, that's fine, that's their business. Now the parking begins. Parking in front of our home, blocking our driveway, double parking. What's happening is they have no parking now because they have closed off both entrances to where the dry cleaner had the drive-through. So they have gated, locked gates now. So the employees of the barber shop are parking in that area. I appreciate your questions because I have a lot of the same ones you have asked. The employees are parking in front, that gap from Woods Avenue to where the gate is. So now, hence, every customer coming hourly is parking in front of our home. Again, that is not why I'm here. I digress. I just want to give you a picture of what we've been dealing with and being cooperative about it. We're not difficult neighbors. But we are having a big problem with parking. Again, we said we'll deal with it, that's fine. We're on a residential block, very small children up and down the block. I am sending my final youngest to college this year. The young children aren't my concern. But on a street filled with young children, I don't know if anyone's familiar with Court Street. It separates Woods Avenue, you mentioned Alias. It separates Woods Avenue and Atlantic. It is a bit of a winding road. There is a blind spot midpoint before you get there. Even sanitation truck navigating that block. I know I've lived there 17 years. I know when to stop, speed and everything. I can't imagine these vehicles coming up and down, commercial vehicles up and down the street. I think it's a safety issue. Never mind the value of my home. Never mind the curb appeal of my home. Never mind the eyesore that I look out my dining room window and now I'm going to see vehicles. I don't think that's right. I understand it's commercial, Woods Avenue they face, but now we're on Court Street. The other concern I had, like I said, we've been very amicable with the new owner. He's spoken to my husband on several occasions. Never any issues. Like I said, we've endured everything with a smile, grin and bear it. My husband had spoke to him when we received notification. After the barbershop and the parking, we're like, all right, it's whatever, we'll deal with it. Then the variance sign goes up. No idea. So we have no idea what he's parking there, what he's talking about. We get a letter from the town. So now my husband sees these plans. He's like, what are you talking about? 4 pickup trucks. And if you could see, if you could really visualize the pictures, I don't even know how they're fitting all this. Because as of right now, the backhoe is inside the building. So I don't know, when they were doing renovations, the trucks that were coming in and out and back and forth were enormous. So I'm not even sure the size of the vehicles, but if you look out at one of these pictures, you can see the backhoe from my front porch. I'm not sure if you have all these sea view. When I look out my dining room window, right now, I have a view of Woods Avenue, Long Beach Road, my neighbors on the street. I don't know what he's parking here, and never mind again, the eyesore, I could live with that, but the value of my home, and now the going in and out. I heard him say, oh, well, we'll just be leaving in the morning, and we'll be coming back in the afternoon. Oh, so leaving at 6:30 in the morning. I have no idea what that's about. And then you're right, like the work is. Like, is this gonna be now a whole barrage of more people parking in front of my home? We're the only home right next to them. You could see how close my home is to the back. So again, I don't know what his intentions are. If you give him this variance and you have plans in front of you, what's to stop him from parking whatever he wants? Like, who monitors this? I know what he has in the plans, but then again, when my husband spoke to him, he had told my husband he didn't even look at the plans. The architect did them. He's only parking 2 things there. So that to me is a red flag. So you know, when someone always tells you when something doesn't make sense, it's usually not true. So I don't want to use any harsh terminology. So I will just say he misled my husband, intentionally or not. Again, we were amicable before this. I didn't want to have to be here. But I'm very concerned. I'm concerned for safety. I'm concerned for even toxins. What is in these vehicles? I just had surgery and battled cancer. I never was so sensitive to what I'm inhaling. What is in these vehicles? No one will tell us. I have no idea. Pickup trucks, backhoes, what is this? And you're right, construction. Is there going to be now materials in these trucks? Are there going to be all these workers hanging around? Is safety an issue? I don't know who these people are. If they're busing in workers from somewhere, what does that do for my home and my safety? I have cameras on my home, but now I have to be afraid? I've lived there 17 years without a fear. And this just is not right. It could have been handled in a much more amicable manner than being here at court. And I wish he had chosen that route. But here we are. So as the homeowner, I would truly, truly appreciate you consider this as if it was your home and this was happening. My youngest is going off to college. My husband and I will be retiring soon. I do not want to live next to a construction site. I don't think that's fair. You know, we pay our taxes. We're good people. We're good neighbors. We shouldn't have to endure this. And I would really appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
My name is Alfredo McLeese. I'm Catherine's husband. I'm very friendly with Dominic. Dominic, we've talked many times. Last I spoke to him, he had mentioned that the only thing that he would update the drawings and talk to the architect, like you said a couple of days ago. And instead of having 6 vehicles, he would drop them down to a couple of vehicles based on pickup trucks. And as you can see from for example, the pickup truck that he has, black one, you had mentioned just a standard pickup truck. But at the same token, now I hear that the trucks might be dump trucks that are 9 to 10 feet high. That's false information. Okay? And that 6-foot fence is our fence that we put up many years ago. My wife has said a lot, and thank you, because I can't speak as well as she does. I'm just a simple electrical engineer. That's about it. Thank you for your consideration.
Mr. Minerva,
No, you go ahead.
you're going to ask the same question.
No, go right ahead.
There are roll-up doors on your building.
Yes,
What's beyond the roll-up doors?
that's the warehouse area.
And what do they store in there?
Tools and equipment for the paving business. No material, no asphalt, no dirt, no materials of any kind are stored in that warehouse.
And a backhoe.
And a backhoe.
You have a CO on this building?
Yes, we have a
Can I
CO.
see it?
Sure.
I don't think the CO permits the storage of construction equipment indoors. Does it? Vinny?
Yes.
I'm looking at the CO. Is nowhere on the CO is there a mention that a barber shop is permitted to operate in this building?
Yes, that's correct. I indicated that there's a pending application for the barber shop, and I put that application number on the record.
Okay. Okay.
It appears that you may need a permit for the storage of your contractor's, the equipment, supplies to for his paving business inside of the building, and that,
Well, we'd have to review that with the building department then. I'd
Yeah.
have to pull all the drawings, all the, everything that was filed and approved plans from the permit that we have the CO on.
it seems that you might be a little, based upon what we're uncovering now, you might be a little premature in your application for this.
Like I said, we have the certificate of occupancy for the office and storage, I think it says accessory storage. So, right. Mhm.
No.
That's something I'd have to discuss in more detail with the building department.
I think we also have to discuss it with the building department.
Understood.
We have, are you finished, sir?
Yes, sir.
We have two letters in opposition. Would you like to see them
I
and
have not seen them. Yes,
perhaps
I'd like to
comment
see them.
on them?
Before you do that, folks, don't leave yet. What would make you more comfortable if this application would be tailored to your needs? What would you like done if the board should grant the case? We can grant conditions, but what would relieve your concerns? Kind of help us out with, there's a building and it's gonna be used for something.
Right.
You live next door and you wanna live happily ever after.
Exactly.
What can we do to mitigate your fears, if you will, or?
Again, the size of the equipment. I don't know what's going to be there. I don't know how tall it is. Is it going to tower over my fence? What's
Well,
being hauled?
he
Just
te-
more information,
He
actually.
Okay, he testified that it would be 10 feet tall. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, if he were to put up a 10-foot high fence abutting your property, how would you feel about that?
I don't think it's just about storage and just a view. It's about the safety. Like my wife said, there's children that are literally right next door to my house and across the street.
Yes.
Matter of fact, if you take a look at some of the pictures that I took, there's a sign that says "Children at Play," and that's exactly right next to the
Okay.
driveway that they're planning to move trucks in and out. So I just don't think it's just a matter of the parking lot and their storage in there. I think it's more of a safety issue also.
But that, I'll play devil's advocate, that, you assume that would be enclosed, and that when they pull their trucks out, Mr. Minerva,
Yes,
would they be able to turn those trucks around when they pull in, head forward into the parking lot and
Hell
then
no, they
Turn
can't
'em-
do that.
turn them around and pull out?
on-site to turn
Yeah.
around,
Are they gonna have to back out of the driveway?
unless they drive through, they're not gonna be able to turn around.
They'd have to park, have it in drive through, go in on one side and go out the other. You can't turn anything
No, they would,
around.
there's not enough
There's no
room on
room.
site to make a U-turn to turn around, so they would back into the, what they could do is back into the site, so that then they're ready to pull out in the next morning.
Excuse me, I have a question. If there's two entrances that they have gated now, the one on Woods Avenue and the one on Court Street. So now if the Woods Avenue one is blocked by cars with the barber shop, how are these vehicles coming in and out? Are they coming in front of my home? They're entering on Court Street? All these commercial vehicles 2 times, 3 times a day, they're coming in and out on Court Street, the residential side? Or are they coming in and out on Woods Avenue? I don't know how they could Woods Avenue if it's blocked with cars.
Would you would consider Court Street a residential neighborhood, right?
That is a
With
residential
all
block.
single-family houses, from what I remember, and then you get up to Atlantic, the post office is there.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of houses on
It's all
Court Street.
residential except for that corner, that's the corner of Woods.
Thank you.
But I'm wondering if they're going to be accessing Court Street as their primary exit and entrance, because that, again, that's,
So again, this use is not in operation. So what we would propose to address that concern, these trucks leave at 6:30 a.m. The barber shop is not open. It's not in operation. So we would limit the larger vehicles to exit only from Woods Avenue. And when they return, they'll have the barber shop move the cars so they can pull in off of Woods. And that way, the larger vehicles will not be on Court Street at all.
Have the barber shop move the cars while they
There's only 2 to 3 employees.
double park a dump truck on the street?
It's only 2 to 3 employees, so you're talking 2 cars, maybe 3.
Maybe they should park in a municipal lot.
We could do that too. We can,
But you don't have control over the barber shop.
we're the landlord, we do.
oh no, will they be parking in front of my home now too? They have nowhere else to go.
Those are just regular vehicles, and this is,
Yeah, they customers too.
Christina?
Antonio, can I ask you a question? From what I remember about the piece of property, I don't know since you guys have renovated it, would you be able to pull a dump truck in, let's say, from Court Street, be able to navigate that turn and get it to Woods Avenue to leave? I mean, is there enough room there? Because it's my experience there isn't, from how I've, not on your piece of property, but
so
in...
along the rear, near the entrances, it's 22 feet, but along the rear, it increases to just about 25 feet, and then you have where the building angles. So,
Just the dump truck or the pickups as well? The bigger trucks preferably, they'd be backing in from Court Street, so we don't
No,
disturb
from
Woods
Woods.
Avenue. I'm sorry, from Woods, so we don't disturb Court.
I wouldn't grant this. I don't think it's a good
so with the larger vehicles, it would be only on Woods Avenue. So when they pull out at 6:30 a.m., there's no issue. They're pulling out head first,
My point, Mr. Minerva, is this, so you have this big truck.
Right.
So is it gonna back in from Woods Avenue into,
Yes.
so how's it gonna do that without blocking traffic? It's a pretty busy area over there. You have Long Beach Road, you have the municipal lot back there, you have Woods Avenue, you
Yes.
have the post office,
So it would possibly be blocking traffic for a few seconds, while it backs in off of Woods at the end of the day, and it's only one trip. So the trip in the morning, they're head first. They're gonna pull out at 6:30, no one's there, it's an easy pull out, and they're limiting it to Woods Avenue. So when they come back at the end of the day, the one trip at the end of the day, again, these vehicles are not in and out, yes, they're gonna block traffic for a few seconds while they make the back in to the site.
And on another note, let's say the barber shop has 3 chairs. I've never been in there. Sure, it's nice. So there's 3 customers, let's say, and 2 people waiting. Where are they gonna park?
They'll have to park on the street.
On Court Street?
Yeah, no, on Woods. There's
Why-
parking on Woods.
There's no parking on Woods Avenue.
No, it's just, just issues that I'm thinking about, the actual nuts and bolts of the
I apologize,
operation.
it's correct. In front of the place, it doesn't look like on-street parking's permitted in Woods. Yep. Right.
Excuse me, if I may, sir, I just wonder if there was any issue of where these vehicles are parked now. If there, was concerns where they are now, that I will be having the same concerns when they move to me.
So, the barbers, we said we're parking on the premises by the Woods Avenue gate. And the customers must be parking in the surrounding streets, in the area. As all of the businesses, it's a commercial area. You got a restaurant across the street, you got a couple other businesses right in the immediate area, you got an auto repair shop diagonally. I'm sure all their customers are parking in the surrounding area.
How about the trucks? Where is the contractor gonna park? Where does he park now? Your applicant.
Where are they now? They're all, Flushing, his main office, Flushing Avenue in Maspeth, Queens. So that's what he's doing, is he would like to keep some of his vehicles out here, so that when he has jobs out here, he can service them easier.
You don't pave blacktop in the winter.
Sure they do.
You can answer.
We do work all year round, so once we hit the winter season, we start doing preparation work for the following season, so we do work all year round. There is a slower period, obviously, when the temperature does get too low.
So these trucks, they can take the asphalt plant and go over with asphalt?
The dump trucks, yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, in other words, like, someone comes between my driveway, they have that truck, and then they have a thing that flattens it out, and all those machines would be there?
No, and there's going to be no machines, there's going to be no storage of material here. They'll have to,
I'm not talking about the material, I'm talking about the big dump truck that puts you put the asphalt, and when you go to the asphalt plant, and what about the roller, where's that?
We store that at our location.
That would be at a different location?
That's correct.
I did pull up the aerial. It appears there is a large municipal parking lot diagonally across the street.
It's about most of the spaces are about 2 blocks away. It's sort of in back of, there's a bunch of stores on Long Beach Road, and that's the parking lot.
It's shown on the radius map. King Street, which is diagonally across the street. There's one commercial property, and then behind that is the town of Hempstead municipal lots. And it looks like there's a lot of spaces there. Okay. Yeah, I'm just pointing out the one that is on the radius map. It's, I'm just seeing if it has a tax lot number. Tax lot looks like 112, and then tax lot 105 on the radius map shows the municipal parking that's on the radius.
Mr. Minerva, within the 300-foot radius, are there any other uses similar to the one proposed by your client?
Well, I did describe you have a plumbing supply
Does he
business.
park vehicles outdoor?
Not that I'm aware of. They have a large overhead bay door.
Does anyone else within the 300-foot area park construction vehicles or commercial vehicles, large commercial vehicles of any type within the 300-foot
I do
radius?
not see anyone within the 300 foot. You have the auto repair shop, but I think
It's indoors.
that's passenger vehicles.
Mhm.
And you have the plumbing supply, but I don't see them having a yard.
I didn't hear
Just the
any,
open.
I didn't hear any testimony about the effect that this might have with respect to property values on that residential block or in general in the neighborhood. Would you
Again,
care
it's
to
a-
opine on that?
It's a special exception. We're not asking for an area use variance. And, I did take you through the criteria for the special exception. Again, it's our position that that's not going to have a negative value. We're storing, as we stated on the conditions, we're storing a few pickup trucks overnight in a yard. There's almost no activity. They're going to be, pulled out in the morning, pulled out back in the afternoon, and the few larger vehicles we're going to store on Woods Avenue next to the neighbor who has a mixed-use property that consented to the granting of the application.
Excuse me,
So,
Mr. Chairman, one other question, I'm sorry to interrupt. He had stated how they're out every morning, 6:30, they're just basically there to stay overnight, there shouldn't be any disruption, and you brought up a point about seasonal, and I'm sure, I don't know how good they are, but in snowstorms and rainstorms and everything else, on those days, are these trucks going to be there 24 hours, and for how many days or how many weeks? Because he makes it sound like there'll be no interruptions, we're out in the morning, you won't even know we're there at night. What about all the days they're not working? What about all the employees? I'm glad that his employees can bus to whatever location they have to be working at, but it doesn't sound logical to me, and I don't know.
Yes,
I
my
still
client
have
did
many
say,
questions.
when the weather does not permit performing the jobs, they will be there. They're not going to be in and out at all. They'll just be stored there. And then again, behind
So is that the whole winter?
there, and, it depends on the weather.
You-
Weather dependent.
Using a hypothetical, let's assume that one of the pieces of equipment breaks down. Are you going to be performing any service on those vehicles on the premises?
It would just depend on the extent of what the repair is. Maybe minor repairs they would possibly do there if they can do it in the shop. If not, they'll for the majority of it, it'll be brought to a service place. There's commercial,
That's not,
auto repairs that service the large commercial vehicles.
it's not permitted by the CO either.
We would be fine with no repairs on site, though, if that's a concern of the board.
Pardon?
The applicant would be fine with a condition that there should be no repairs performed on site if that's a concern of the board or the neighbors, and they'll all be brought out for service.
Anything else you'd like to add? Mr. Minerva, anything
Just,
else?
To answer a few of their
Go right ahead.
additional comments, that, we had put on the record that there'd be no materials, no loading and unloading, and I know that was brought up again, so I just want to reiterate that we indicated that that will not be performed on site. The vehicles are going to be empty, and that's it. Request your favorable consideration.
Okay.
The only thing I would leave you with is I appreciate you hearing us. Again, this is nothing personal. I just know by living there, I know the proximity, I know the size of everything. There is no way this is going off without a hitch. There is no way he is parking these vehicles in and out, and then who's monitoring it? Then I'm just stuck with it, and the residents around me are. So there's no way that this is going to be as easy as he's making it sound. And one gentleman, he had pointed it out clearly. He knows the area. Just the question he asked, I was amazed. How are you going to maneuver these trucks in and out? Like, because they figure you don't know the actual spot they're referring to.
From rebuttal, we're going,
All right. One at a time.
we're going rebuttal to rebuttal. The one other thing I did confer with my client, he said if it's a problem, what he can use is pickup trucks with the dumpster bodies rather than full-size full-size dumpster trucks. He could store those here, which would be smaller vehicles if the trucks are what making them the most concern. So then it would just be 3 pickup trucks regular and 2 pickup trucks with the dump bodies on them, which will be smaller than the dump trucks.
That concludes your presentation, is that correct? Okay, any other questions
Mr.
from the
Minerva,
board?
just as a comment on the side, if there are any repairs, that has to be referred to the town board. So,
No repairs on site, we'll accept that condition.
exactly, because it just,
No repairs on site, we'll agree to that condition.
You'll
As well
forgive
as
me if I
everything
don't
else
take
we've
them at their
indicated.
word.
Uh,
Sorry.
As well as everything else
It's not
that
a
we
debate.
offered as conditions.
Right.
and would you be agreeable to a higher fence on the neighbor's side?
Yeah, so that fence continues around. I understand that the fence along the rear yard is, the neighbor's indicating that's her fence. It does continue, same white fence continues around the side, so what we will replace, if we're open to that. So whether it's the board would prefer a second fence on our side that's higher, that's not a problem.
Okay. The only other, and if I know you finished, but the only other thing that I have, starting up diesel motors at 6:30 in the morning, I would not like that. And they all are required by OSHA to have backup alarms, and that's gonna happen also. Those are pretty obnoxious if I were to live next door.
Well, if we change it to the pickup trucks with the dump bodies, now you only have 5 pickup trucks.
Okay, that would
And
be
you don't have the
good.
diesel, the
That's-
large diesel vehicles.
How about I know you can't stop
About
backup
tobacco.
alarms, but 6:30 a.m. is a little bit early.
Well, we're backing in at the end of the day, so they'll be pulling out forward. So it's 6:30 a.m. when they leave.
Okay.
With the pickup trucks now we have 5 pickup trucks backed in, so they're driving out forward.
Commercial pickup. So, the next thing, would you reduce your proposed conditions to writing and submit it to the council?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, that conclude, go ahead. Okay.
What about the back? How's that gonna get out? Is that diesel? Does that make noise? What is that gonna do for the neighbors?
Yes, so the backhoe, we still have the backhoe. It is diesel, but my client is, you can tell them how the vehicle operates.
All of our diesel equipment is Tier 4 final, so it maintains a certain decibel rate. Tier 4 final is for diesel engines. This way we can maintain proper environmental standards. Also for the decibel noise that gets released from the machine or the piece of equipment, that's at a lower level as well. That's for our quality of life at that point when we're on jobs.
Mr. Minerva, my last question is, looking for some sort of compromise. Is there a way to not have any of these trucks or this backhoe, just have his work truck, the regular trucks that are leaving for the job, what do you call them, not pickup trucks,
So there'd be 3 pickup trucks and 2 pickup trucks with the dump bodies on them, not dump trucks.
yeah, but it's still to me, from my perspective, if I lived on that block, it would be a problem. I wouldn't want that, I wouldn't want to live on that block and deal with that. I'm trying to see if your clients would be able to use their property without the trucks, just for, I don't know anything about your business,
Right.
but I'm looking for some sort of, something reasonable, you know
Understood.
what I'm
Well,
saying?
let
That's
me
all.
put together those conditions that we would be acceptable, and I'll submit those to the board for your consideration.
Right.
Just have one question. Between the 2 properties, is it all cement?
Yes.
There's no dirt?
On our property, there's no dirt. It's cement and then the fence.
Because I want to, the reason I brought it up is maybe from, because of some shrubbery, as a buffer,
You can't.
That's fine. We can add that to the proposed conditions. Like a landscape evergreen buffer. That may actually be better than the higher fence, so we'll put that in there as an alternative in the conditions.
How would that affect the area where you're driving
Yeah, and make it, so we, like I said, when you come in, it's 20 feet, but it does widen to 25, and then it's even wider in the corner. So if we're just putting the landscaping along, I'm gonna take out my radius map, but along the rear property line where the residential neighbor is,
I've already done that.
and we're reducing the size of the vehicles, we'll, I think we can make that work.
Okay, that concludes your presentation. All right, any other questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I move the hearing be closed, the case placed on the decision calendar. When you submit your proposed conditions, the board will consider that and will render a decision. You folks will be notified also. Thank you for taking the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed? That concludes the afternoon calendar. We'll take a 10-minute break, come back and do decisions. go, we have to do decisions. Come on, Froggy, let's go.
You know, by the way, Joe, you're Katora for the afternoon, so you have to be his chairman. You gotta tell him what to do. You gotta tell him what to do. You gotta tell him what to do. He needs guidance.
Okay,
Pull him by the hair. Oh,
there is none, there is none.
Hey, you know,
Okay.
John suggested here.
All right, so case, afternoon calendar, case 395 of 2025, near Valley Stream, Stephen Friedman, that case has been adjourned to September 10th at 2 p.m. Case 396 of 2025, Merrick Character Development LLC, DBA Kidstrong. Any questions from the board? If not, do I have a motion?
I make a motion on case number 396 of 25, Merrick Character Development, Kid Strong. Move that we adopt a negative declaration as to CEQA determination based on testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we have reviewed and analyzed.
Second?
I second it.
All in favor? Any opposed? Now on the merits.
On the merits, on the variance, I make a motion that we approve it
As requested.
as requested.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, case 397 and 398 of 2025, I was recused on that case. That's Oceanside, 3255 Lawson Boulevard, LLC. That is, do we want to have any discussion about a use variance? I was not privy to the testimony, so I don't know whether he met the threshold.
I know the area a little bit, and I've been to the establishment a few times. And I think, based on my experience going there, and it hasn't really been well-trafficked. I've never seen any kind of a problem with parking. They do have enough space for the tenants if we decide to approve it. I think it's a good application. That's my opinion. Yeah.
My only question would be, instead of 3 apartments, maybe make 2, you know, instead, so there's more parking. I mean, 500 square feet on an apartment, is that a big apartment? I don't even know. So maybe we should make them 2 1,500, you know, or 2 750 square, I don't know. Just a thought.
Is there on-street parking on the sideburn? Okay.
Yeah, but those are train station spots, that they're gonna be
Oh, you need a permit?
You would need a permit, but you don't have a
Yeah, but they do have parking.
on street.
There's
Yeah,
on-street
but they
parking
do
on
have
Side
parking
Street.
on the property. Yeah, I never see anyone there at all.
What would be wrong with just asking them to make this 2 apartments instead of 3? That would be 2 more spaces and less people.
$1,900 less rent.
Just a thought. I have no strong opinion on it, I'm just talking.
Do you know them?
Oh, no, I don't. I just know,
I've never seen personally.
yeah.
I've never seen a lot of people who
did submit a comprehensive, and I remember it, he wrote the negatives in red, you know, what the costs.
Between the taxes and the upkeep, the taxes, I thought he said were like $50,000 or $60,000 or something like that.
I think he said 70.
I think
It's
he's
close.
Well, I think the total expenses was 70, he was saying.
So then that's financial evidence showing
The
that
hardship.
hardships.
But he knew, but they're self-inflicted, because he knew that when he bought the building at a bargain. That's what she said. Well, but he knew when he was buying it, what it, you
So
know.
we get knowledge of it, but it's not a self-created hardship, because that's what the property is. Unfortunately, right, there was evidence presented that they were unable to rent out any
Yeah.
space upstairs.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's it.
So, Joe, what do you think, Joe? What do you think, Joe?
That's because of
Yeah.
the location of the property.
Yes.
It's right across the street from a bus depot.
So you good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it,
I'm
but I
good
do
with it.
agree
I'm good with it,
that Christina should get some information, you know, in writing, you know. I mean, I don't know, I guess you could look at the record, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, the neighborhood does have rentals, and he did say that there were other places where there is business on the top.
And it is right across the street from the railroad
I will
station,
tell you,
almost.
I mean, I think, you know, John knows and Mark knows, in Valley Stream on Rockaway Avenue, we are doing everything we possibly can to get mixed use. You know, people, you know, renting upstairs, you know, developing, you know, their retail business, because people are going out of business. It's terrible. And, you know, there's so many vacant storefronts. So I think this is something similar to that.
Well, and this will not change that neighborhood.
So, Joe,
No,
why don't you make a motion?
I was chairing it.
Yeah.
You can make it, call for a motion. Yeah. You
Why do you make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
You always, if you ever look, no, not this time, you're right.
On case 39725, I move that we adopt a negative declaration as to the CEQA determination based on a testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we have received and analyzed with certain conditions.
Second. Aye.
Okay.
As to the merits, you gotta make a motion to
I
grant.
make the motion.
To grant.
To grant as requested.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Take your guidance, yeah?
Who's, I don't think so.
document regarding the transformer or the consent on the PSE&G for that portion of the application dealing with the transformer?
Right.
Yes.
You know, we had a charity, the Five Towns United Way, had the building right next to Verizon. And what they all said was true. The parking's not a problem, and, you know, it's sort of in an industrial area. There's the post office is there, there's a nursing home,
Do you want to grant, it was a good case, do you want to grant it, but subject to, without a permit being issued, that we get satisfactory?
Essentially utility.
Yeah, make the motion on the secret determination, please, someone.
No, he's got the script.
I'm on case number 399 of 25 and 400 of 25, Verizon Woodmere. I move that we adopt a negative declaration as to the CEQA determination based on testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we have reviewed and analyzed.
Second? Second on the secret? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, as to the merits?
As to the merits of the case on 399 to 400 Woodmere Verizon variance, front yard, average setback, rear yard, et cetera, that we granted as requested, subject to verification that they have PSE&G's consent to be their representative.
Second? All in favor? Okay. Next two cases I am again recused on.
Go for it. Secret determination.
With respect, I know, I'm sorry. Break, I can do it now.
I'm sorry.
With respect to case 401 of 25, location of property is in Roosevelt. It is west of Park Avenue, north of Greenwich Avenue. I move that we adopt a negative declaration as to the CEQA determination based on the testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we reviewed and analyzed.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And on the merits?
With respect to 402 of 25, again in Roosevelt, it does have a street address, 345 Park Avenue. I move that we adopt a negative deck as to the CEQA determination based on the testimony given, exhibits in the file, and other materials we reviewed and analyzed.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I move case 402 of 2025, location of property 345 Park Avenue, Roosevelt, be granted as requested.
Second?
With
The
conditions.
new
New,
Subdivision.
right.
subdivision.
That's what she said.
Is that the new home? Oh, that's the maintain. And 401? What about 401?
Your motion is in reference to both 401 and 402.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So they're both,
New house conditions on 401 and
and
subdivision conditions on both.
He also
Second.
occupied too.
that's what we,
Owner
That's
occupied.
what he said. He said all the conditions which were,
Yeah,
those are the conditions
she got it covered.
yeah.
Yeah.
See
Okay.
that?
All in favor?
aye.
Okay. Case 678 of 2024 Hewlett has been adjourned to October 15th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Case 328 of 2025 Oceanside, I would like to revisit that location,
And I
so
will too.
I'm going to hold that one.
Okay. So, yes, Dominic to submit conditions,
Yes.
proposed conditions. Okay, so, I emailed everybody proposed findings on Loma. I don't know if everyone had a chance to review, and if you folks have.
I thought it was fine. I made a couple of
Yep, but
You
we have,
did.
we have to formally adopt. So,
Somebody want to
Was I
make a
here on
motion
that?
to adopt
Was
the
that last
findings?
week?
no, that was, Middle Bay Country Club? You were here,
15-foot high fence.
Oh, God.
20 to 40.
Yes.
No, my copy, is it 115?
You want me to make the motion?
Hold on, I believe it was 115, but bear with me, I'm gonna.
It's called Loma.
Loma.
I make a motion on 115 to 25, Loma Holdings, that the findings that were done by Christine be adopted.
I second the motion. All in favor? Aye.
Motion to adjourn.